taxes. So any person now being a buyer, he is purchasing goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakh rupees in the previous year. What do you mean by it? Please understand. If Lalit were to purchase 1 crore of goods from Mr. Sanjay, now Lalit is purchasing 1 crore of goods from Mr. Sanjay, up to 50 lakhs, they are telling, don't worry, you need not deduct TDS. Now Lalit will purchase 3 times during the year. Please understand carefully. Lalit will purchase 3 bills, 3 invoices. Lalit will purchase 1 crore, say in July, again 1 crore in August, and 1 crore in September. So Lalit is purchasing 3 times. Law is telling me, I will give you only 50 lakhs exemption. It is not for each transaction. It is per seller per year. Very simple, sir. Per buyer, per seller, per year. So Lalit, he purchased 3 times, 3 bills. So 3 crores minus 50 lakhs. On 2.5 crores, Lalit has to deduct and pay to the government of India 0.1%. That's all. Nothing to worry. Now, next question is, what happens if Lalit has purchased goods between 1st of April till 30th of June? Please understand carefully. Day after tomorrow onwards, today is 29th, tomorrow is 30th June. From 1st of July, this provision starts. So what do I need to be careful about? For example, Lalit to Sanjay has purchased goods of 60 lakhs by 30th of June. That is from 1st of April 21 till 30th of June 21. Lalit has already invoiced to our Sanjay 60 lakh rupees. Fine. So already for the threshold limit 50 lakhs is already finished. You can't again take the threshold limit of 50 lakhs. So when Lalit invoices to Sanjay again, say 10 lakh rupees. 10 lakh rupees on July 5th. Up to 30th of June, 60 lakhs is already done. Don't worry. Don't deduct TDS on that. Please don't deduct TDS. And please also don't think that is 60 lakhs minus 50 lakhs on 10 lakhs you need to deduct. No. Because the purchaser's invoice is raised even before 30th of June, so don't bother. So 60 lakhs anyway, there is no need of any TDS. For example, now Lalit were to buy 10 lakhs goods again in July 5th. On the 10 lakhs, he has to straight away deduct 0.10%. Now again, what is the mantra in TDS? It is either payment or credit to the account, whichever is earlier. Either payment or credit, whichever is earlier. Now, for example, point number 1. Suppose 1 crore goods are purchased. If 1 crore goods are purchased, my dear friend, the whole idea is, suppose you do not deduct TDS. The buyer will not deduct TDS. If you do not deduct TDS at 0.1%, what you have to do? What is the consequence? Consequence number 1, that 1 crore, out of 1 crore, 30% will be disallowed in the return of income of the buyer. I am telling you again, 194Q, buyer. What is the condition? Buyer is any person. We understood. So buyer is any person paying any sum to whom? To a resident seller. First point. Secondly, buyer's turnover during the preceding year, that is during the last year, should be minimum 10 crores turnover. Then during the year, 50 lakhs transactions with the seller. Then he has to deduct 0.1%. Suppose this buyer, now Lalit says, no, I will not deduct 0.1%. Let me see, what will the government do? 0.1%, I am not going to deduct. I have better compliance. What is this daily compliances? I am fed up of all the compliances. As Ketan Bhai rightly pointed out, there is no business. I am not bothered. So he's telling now, I am not going to deduct TDS. My dear friends, if you do not deduct TDS, the consequences are very harsh. Consequence number 1. If Lalit has purchased 1 crore goods from Mr. Sanjay, does not deduct TDS at 0.1%, 30% of that purchases would be disallowed, meaning to say 30 lakhs will be added to the return of income. I mean your income. 30 lakhs will be added to income, 30% tax. Unnecessary, you have to pay more than 10 lakhs tax and you add surcharge, education cess. That is the first 40A IA. That section is already there in the act, my dear friends. TDS not deducted, 30% of the entire transaction to be disallowed, number 1. Number 2, interest 201(1)A, 1% per month or plus 1.5% per month if tax deducted, not paid. Number 3, penalty under 271C. Number 4, you know, the 40IA we saw, 271C we saw, and fourthly is the prosecution proceedings. So the whole idea is for 0.1%. Why should I break my head? Wherever TDS is there, please be conservative. What we advise the clients, And what step we take normally, wherever there are TDS provisions, please be conservative in nature. After all, when I'm paying 1 crore for purchase, one check will go to Government of India, 0.1%. Balance check will go to the buyer. I mean, your seller. Seller can very well claim. What is the harm? What is the problem? So we will see as we go forward. So for purchase of goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakh rupees in any previous year, shall at the time of credit or at the time of payment thereof by any mode. Please understand, very important, credit or payment, whichever is earlier, it is there. Thereof by any mode. If you see in other sections, 194J, 194C, 194LA, etc., what it says, it does not say by any other mode. It says by cash, check, draft. Cash, check, draft. This section is telling by any other mode. Meaning to say, if Lalit has purchased 1 crore goods from Sanjay, understand, in kind. Please understand, in kind. The transaction is not by check, cash, or draft. It is in kind. In my humble opinion, even in kind, TDS will apply in this section. Because the section is telling on account of seller at the time of payment thereof by any mode. Then we will see. Deduct an amount equal to 0.1% of such sum exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Then they are giving the meaning of buyer. I told you meaning of buyer means what? Whose total sales, gross receipts or turnover from the business carried on by him exceed 10 crores during the financial year, immediate financial year. Now, please be careful here. If suppose Lalit is a chartered accountant, now what is the meaning of sales, gross receipts and turnover? Suppose Lalit is a chartered accountant and is also carrying on business of jewelry. So sales from jewelry is 5 crores. Receipts from, because he's a chartered accountant, receipts from profession is 6 crores. So 6 crores plus 5 crores, it has gone beyond 11 crores, my dear friend, beyond 10 crores. It is 11 crores. So therefore, he is bound to deduct TDS. Because the word used is sales, gross receipts, turnover. So where a person is carrying on profession, carrying on business, jewelry business of 5 crores, 6 crores is professional income, add both 6 plus 5, and then you have to deduct TDS. Now, what is the subsection 2? We saw that. It says, credit or payment, whichever is earlier. Subsection 3 says, any difficulty in giving effect to this provision, board means Central Board of Direct Taxes, with the previous approval of the government, will issue guidelines for removing difficulty. Then every guideline they will lay before both houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and that will be binding on all the income tax authorities. Subsection 5 is telling what? The provisions of this section will not apply to a transaction on which tax is deductible under any of the provisions of this Act, or tax is collectible under the provisions of 206C other than a transaction to which 1H of 206C applies. Meaning to say, already this 206C 1H was there in the statute, my dear friend. 206C 1H is already there last year. Now this year 194Q has come. So 206C 1H will apply to seller. 194Q will apply to buyer. So the question therefore is, suppose the seller's turnover is also more than 10 crores during their 50 lakhs and same buyer's turnover is less than 50 lakhs, more than 50 lakhs current year. Last year again his turnover is more than 10 crores. So which will apply? What the law is telling, if 194Q is applicable, then 206C1H is not applicable. Again, if 206C1H is applicable, 194Q will not be applicable. Next, suppose if both are applicable, Lalit's turnover is also 10 crores, this fellow's Sanjay's turnover is also 10 crores, and the transaction during there is more than 50 lakhs. So they are telling between 194Q and between 206C1H, what will take precedence is 194Q. TDS on purchase is most important. But if the buyer fails to deduct TDS, then the government of India or the income tax department will collect it from the seller. If Lalit fails to deduct and remit TDS, government has all the right as per 206C1H. They will collect it from the seller, that is Lalit. Sanjay. Now, this explanatory memorandum is as given in the budget. We will not bother. So I have prepared 56 question and answers for you. Then you ask whatever you feel like. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can ask whatever you want on these three sections. Let me take you quickly through this 56 question and answers. Now, this how it is prepared, sir? It is prepared on the basis of this section in the Act, as well as one circular and two notifications have come. That has come only just 3 days back on 25th of June. So now, when is this section applicable? Point number 1. Question number 1. This is applicable from 1st of July. And what is the rate of TDS? 0.1% on purchase of goods more than 50 lakhs from a resident seller. Now, when should I deduct TDS? At the time of credit of such sum to the seller, or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Meaning what? Even TDS liability would arise even if the buyer makes advance payment for purchase of goods. Suppose a jeweler were to make advance payment for purchase of bullion. He has made advance payment for purchase of bullion. And if it is threshold limit crosses 50 lakhs, then the jeweler has to deduct TDS, my dear friends. They have to deduct TDS, even though the bill is not raised. Please understand carefully. 1 crore advance is paid. Now, Ketan Bhai is buying bullion from Lalit. So, Mr. Ketan Bhai is buying bullion from Lalit, has advanced 1 crore to bullion, 1 crore money. He has to deduct 0.10% only, although the bill is not raised. The jeweler has to deduct. Why? Law is telling credit or payment, whichever is earlier. So, it is crystal clear. It will arise even on advance of money paid against purchase of bullion by a jeweler. Next. Who are all covered under 194Q? Every damn person on this earth in the Income Tax Act 2 within bracket 31 is covered, sir. Individual, HUF, firm, LLP, company, AOP, BY. AOP is artificial, AOP is Association of Persons, body of individuals, artificial juridical person, even trust, cooperative society, etc. Every person is covered. What is the mantra here, buyer? You have to fulfill 2 conditions. You have to, your turnover in the last year should be more than 10 crores and during their transaction should be more than 50 lakhs. Now, who are the payers who are exempt from liability? Now, central government is empowered to issue a notification to exempt a person. So that notification, till now, there is no such notification issued. It will come in future. The central government will definitely exempt certain buyers from not deducting, who may not require to deduct TDS under this section. There is no such notification as on date. Next. Now, very important question is, I am calculating turnover, sir, of the buyer. So, very interesting question is whether the turnover of 10 crores includes GST. For example, we will consider Malabar Jewelry. Now, Malabar Jewelry, their turnover, how do I calculate the 10 crores, whether it is including GST or excluding GST? Very simple answer is open your trading account. Open the trading and profit and loss account. What is the sales credited to trading account? Is it including your GST or excluding GST? 99% of chartered accountants, 99% of businessmen all over India do not include GST, do not add GST to sales and purchases. They open a separate account in the books of accounts. Any GST collected is credited to that account. Any GST paid is debited to that account. Only the net amount is debited to profit and loss account. Very, very simple. So therefore, just see the sales. That sales is always exclusive of GST. Take that sales figure and then please find out whether it exceeds 10 crores or is less than 10 crores. Very simple. Take an example. For example, the total sales of Malabar Jewelry for financial year 2021. I told you we have to see last year, sir. We are now in financial year 21-22. See the turnover of last year. Now, turnover of last year is, for example, 9 crores. GST collected at 18% on sales is 1.62 crores. Total amount inclusive of GST is 10.62 crores. Therefore, in the above example, assessee would not be covered under provisions of 194Q since its turnover is 9 crores only, which is below the threshold limit of 10 crores. Now, whether the limit of 50 lakhs, that is okay, we are clear now. Now, whether limit of 50 lakhs, for 10 crores, you are clear about the whether to include or not to include GST. So here example, you got it, 9 crores was the sales, 1.62 crores is the GST. So, in my trading account, I booked only 9 crores. 1.62 crores went away to that GST payable account. Now, what about 50 lakhs? Whether 50 lakhs is exclusive of GST or inclusive of GST? Now, 194Q, it will apply with reference to purchases, sir. And I told you payment or credit for purchases, whichever is earlier, not with reference to purchases only. There was a board circular. Board circular means it is, your CBDT circular issued by the Central Board of Direct Taxes, circular number 23/2017, where excluded GST on services only. It is only on services. In absence of specific circular, TDS will be done inclusive of GST on goods. My personal opinion, for these purchases of 50 lakh rupees, it is inclusive of GST in the purchases, in the purchase bill. When you make purchase, it will be how to calculate the TDS as of today, because there is no circular in my favor, sir, on 194Q. Total purchases plus GST. On that, you have to deduct TDS, in my humble opinion. Although there is a circular which says you exclude GST and then calculate TDS, but that is only for services. It is not for your 194Q. Now, that circular came because of the judgment given by Rajasthan High Court. Why Honorable Rajasthan High Court in the earlier judgment delivered on 1st of July 2013, what it told? Now, what happens? The court is telling, after all you are collecting GST as an agent of the government, you are going to collect GST, you are going to remit it to the government of India. So therefore, where is the income in the where is the income? Is GST or income anyway? So that was in case of, and that too, what was they telling? That was in case of services. Your 194J, technical services or professional services, fees for professional services or technical services, and court held that no TDS is required to be made on the service tax component 115J of the Act. Based on that, circulars were passed. Even your circular number 23/17, the board clarified that wherever in terms of agreement or contract between payer and payee, component of GST on services is comprised in the amount payable to resident, it is indicated separately, then no tax shall be deducted at source under Chapter 17B of the Act on the amount paid or payable without including such GST on services component. And GST for these purposes shall include IGST, CGST, SGST, UTG, ST, etc. Now, please see this example, you will be clear. So it has to be deducted on amount of purchase inclusive of GST. So date of purchase is 3rd July. So for example, 5 days from now, you are going to make purchases. Purchase value excluding GST is 55 lakhs. GST amount at 18% is 9.9 lakhs. So total invoice value is 64.9 lakhs. Date of payment for purchase value is 1st December 2021. So if the CBDT circular does not come by 30th of June, stating that GST is to be excluded to determine threshold of 50 lakhs or to deduct TDS on purchase value excluding GST, till then I will deduct the TDS and threshold of 50 lakhs will be considered to be inclusive of GST only. Therefore, in the above example, how much I have to deduct, sir? 64.9 lakhs total invoice value minus 50 lakhs. On 14.9 lakhs, deduct at 0.1% for 1,490 rupees. Why do you want to break your head? Whether shall I include GST, whether shall I don't include GST? I will get one case as a chartered accountant. You will tell, no, GST, I am paying GST as an agent of the government. You know what I will do? I will take the GST, I'll remit it to the government, I will not pay. Hardly for 1,490 rupees. Anyway, that auditor fees itself will be beyond that for filing an appeal. So goods, we understood, Sale of Goods Act, it is not defined, CGST, Constitution of India, etc. So the definition, we will take it as Sale of Goods Act 1930. Anyhow, we move further. Now, what are all goods? You see, because of this definition, goods means every movable property, it means any commodity, it means even shares or securities. Although that shares or securities, exemption was given on 206C1H last year because of the circular. Similar circular is yet to come. Even then, I fail to understand how could one deduct TDS on purchase or sale of securities. Because I am purchasing shares or securities, I am transacting on the stock exchange. Suppose I were to sell goods, I were to sell shares to, say, for example, Sanjay. I am selling shares to Sanjay. Sanjay doesn't know he has purchased from Naveen on the stock exchange, and Naveen doesn't know I have purchased from Sanjay. So therefore, the TDS provision itself will fail. Anyway, in 206C1H, they have given an exemption. But now, such an exemption is still not come in 194Q. Next, electricity. What about electricity? Similar thing. Last year, electricity, renewable energy, etc. They were exempted and guideline was issued by CBDT last year. Perhaps similar exemption will be provided by guidelines issued under 194Q. Your agricultural produce is also goods, my dear friends. Everywhere, purchase of agricultural produce, purchase of fuel, purchase of motor vehicle, liquor, jewelry, bullion, arts, drawings, sculpture, scraps, canned software, off-the-shelf computer software. I'm telling you, everything are goods. Everywhere this provision will apply to all over India, to all the people, to all the businesses. Anyway, so we move further. Now, how to calculate the limit of 50 lakhs? Now, I told you, whatever purchases liable to deduct TDS from the seller, if the purchases in the financial year, including purchases before 1st of July, exceeds 50 lakhs. For determining the threshold limit, you have to consider even the purchases made before 30th of June also to determine threshold of 50 lakhs. However, to calculate, the TDS, you have to exclude the purchases made before 30th of June and then deduct in excess of 50 lakhs. Now, monetary threshold 50 lakhs, how will you apply? So there is no requirement to deduct TDS for credit or payment of amount to the seller so long as the threshold of 50 lakhs is not crossed, either in respect of deliveries received from a resident seller during the financial year or in respect of payments made to him. We move further. Now, we'll take one example. For example, 48 lakhs was the value of purchases. Then up to say 31st August, 48 lakhs only. Then after 48 lakhs, suppose one order of 3 lakhs is placed on him by the purchaser. Then goods are delivered by him. Therefore, what is the value of deliveries now totally? It's 51 lakhs. So 51 minus 50 lakhs on 1 lakh rupee only you have to deduct. So after this, what happens? Suppose 3 lakh rupees credit is posted again. So TDS should be deducted on excess over the threshold limit. That is on 1 lakh at the rate of 0.1%, that is rupees 100. Entry will be purchasers account debit 3 lakhs to suppliers account 2,99,900 to TDS payable account 100. So this is how you have to pass entries in the books of accounts. And think there are inter purchases and sales. Please understand, this will happen in business. Now Lalit purchased from Mr. Ketan 1 crore bullion. Again Ketan purchased from Lalit 1 crore bullion. You are telling, sir, net off. Every transaction I'll keep buying, purchasing, selling, purchasing. And at the end, I will deduct TDS. No, it is not possible for mapping, sir. Each transaction we have to map. So when he purchases, he deducts. When he sells, if at all 2060-1H is applicable, he will collect. If at all he has, at the time of purchase, if he has deducted, then under seller and 2060-1H will not collect. So you cannot tell that, purchase, you account it, no problem. Even if you account it, purchase minus sales, at the end of the month, you can, whatever is to be paid, you pay, whatever is to be collected, you collect. But TDS is only on separate transaction as a whole. He made 10 purchases, Lalit made 10 purchases from Mr. Ketan, Ketan made 10 purchases from Lalit, like that. Every purchase they have to see. It's a separate transaction, you cannot net off. For purpose of accounts, for purpose of payment, you net off. But for purpose of TDS, each transaction is to be considered separately and wholly. We move forward. Now, only what is relevant we will take. Now the question therefore is, because 194Q is introduced, whether 206C1H is applicable or not applicable is the question now. My dear friends, 206C1H is also applicable in the hands of seller. 194Q is also applicable in the hands of purchaser. Therefore, now they are telling, wherever 206C1H is done, please don't deduct. Government is telling, don't do double deduction. Where 206C1H is there, don't deduct on the purchases and made under 194Q TDS. And where 194Q is done, please do not, seller, please do not collect under 206C1H. Where both applies, the mantra is simple, give more importance to purchase. TDS on purchase under 194Q. Now, examples also are given. We will share the PPT, don't worry. Now see this example, 194Q versus 206C1H. Now turnover of the buyer is 15 crores. Transaction value is 60 lakhs. So TDS at 1.1% on rupees 10 lakhs under 194Q. That is amount exceeding 50 lakhs. No problem. Because turnover of buyer is 15 crores and he made 60 lakhs purchases. Absolutely no doubt 194Q amount exceeding 50 lakhs. Example 2. Turnover of the seller is 20 crores. Turnover of buyer is 5 crores. And transaction value during their buyer has bought 1 crore. So TCS at 0.1% under 206C1H to be collected by seller. Why? Because the turnover of the seller is more than 10 crores. Whereas turnover of buyer is less than 10 crores. Although the purchases made is more than 50 lakhs. I told you both the conditions should be cumulatively fulfilled. Hence, in this case, buyer is not liable to deduct TDS under 194Q. Now, please, this example will make all your doubts clear. 194Q versus 206C 1H. Suppose the turnover of the seller is 2 crores in the preceding year. Turnover of the buyer is 20 crores. What will apply? Obviously, only 194Q, sir, because buyer turnover more than 10 crores. Similarly, 50 crores a seller in the preceding year, 5 crores buyer during the year. That means only TCS will apply 206C 1H. Now, both the turnover are 15 crores, 15 crores. Then I told you, 194Q will take precedence over 206C 1H. And there will be no TCS as per second proviso to section 206C 1H. Suppose in both the cases now it is 8 crores, 8 crores. If it is 8 crores, 8 crores, I told you turnover should be minimum 10 crores. So no TDS and no TCS. Now whether seller has to obtain self-declaration from the buyer. Whether seller has to obtain self-declaration from the buyer. So seller whose turnover exceeds 10 crores in preceding financial year, then it is advisable that he may obtain a self-declaration from all its customers buyer from whom receipt against sale of goods exceed 50 lakhs in a financial year, whether such buyer will deduct TDS under 194Q or not. Because this fellow doesn't know seller, he will also collect TCS. Buyer will also may deduct TDS under 194Q. Therefore, seller, it is advisable, you please collect a declaration from the buyer. Now, what is the time of deduction? At the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. How and where to deposit TDS? You know, 7th of next month. That same rule will apply, sir. Suppose TDS is deducted in the month of July 21, it should be deposited on or before 7th of August 2021. Further, TDS deducted in month of March can be deposited up to 30th of April. And what is the challan for TDS? Number 281. We are discussing only 194Q. So what is the code? 94Q. And the details of TDS deducted will be included in the quarterly TDS statement form number 26Q. So what is the rate of TDS? 0.1%. Now, to this 0.1%, you need not add health and education cess and surcharge. Point number 1. 0.1%, don't add health and education cess and surcharge. Again, there is no nil deduction certificate, my dear friends. No nil deduction, no lower deduction is available. And there is no provision for non-deduction based on self-declaration form 15G, 15H. And if the deductee does not furnish PAN, rate of TDS will be 5% instead of 0.1%. Now, what happens if the buyer fails to deduct TDS under 194Q? We understood that 40 IA disallowance. But my good friend Lalit will tell, what is there if the buyer did not deduct? Suppose, I will tell why, what will happen if the buyer did not deduct under 40 IA? I will take form 26A. Please understand form 26A, what is the repercussion? Okay, I did not deduct TDS under 194Q. I will take form 26A. What is form 26A? I have to take from the seller, stating that what? Seller has, included that purchases in his return of income and he has filed the return of income and he has declared that because he has sold and this fellow has purchased. So I will take form 26A from the seller. Now, my dear friend, understand a case very, very important. For example, Malabar Jewelry. Now, Malabar Jewelry has purchased. Okay, they did not deduct. Now, what is the due date for filing return of income of Malabar Jewelry? It is subject to tax audit. Due date is 31st of October 22. Please understand, due date is 31st of October 22 for this financial year. Financial year 21-22. Next year, you have to file the return, sir, by October 22 because that is the date for audit. For example, Malabar Jewelry purchased from Mr. Lalit. Malabar Jewelry purchased from Lalit and they did not deduct TDS. Due date for Malabar Jewelry is 31st October 22. Now, Lalit, he is a small, simple businessman. And for him, what is the turnover? Less than 2 crores. And he is filing return under 44 AD. So therefore, he has time to file the return up to 31st of December 22. This is for this year, financial year 21-22, assessment year 22-23. That is next year, 31st of December 22. That fellow will file the return. So therefore, when I can take 26A is, return should be filed before the due date of Malabar Jewelry. What is the due date of Malabar Jewelry? 31st October. And Lalit filed the return under presumptive scheme on 31st December 22. Therefore, this year 30% disallowance will come. Point number 1. It will be allowed in the next year. Don't worry. It will be allowed in the next year in Malabar Jewelry's hands because he has obtained the form 26A on 31st December after he filed the return. That will come in the next year. Secondly, my dear friend, one more important point is the deductor or Malabar Jewelry, you will have to pay 18 months interest. Why? Because the due date, it is from July. I did not. 31st of July till 31st of December 22. So 18 months interest you cannot avoid. So be careful in that for this form 26A. That example also I have given. Now what happens if the deductee does not give PAN to the deductor? Deductor is buyer, deductee is seller. That fellow is not giving PAN. So what happens? TDS under section 206AA shall be deducted at higher of the following rates. How to calculate, sir? 206A, if they don't give the deductee does not share his PAN, rate prescribed in the Act 0.1% or rates in force, that is a rate mentioned in Finance Act, or at the rate of 5%. Okay, now the question is, at the rate in force, what do you mean by it? Rate in force means 30%. Rate prescribed is 0.1%, rate in force 30% or at the rate of 5% shall be deducted higher of the following rates. Now, suppose your jewelry business is an SEZ unit. Jewelry business, you are running jewelry business in SEZ unit. Are you as a buyer, are you responsible for and you are paying to a resident seller for purchase of goods? Are you liable to deduct TDS? Yes. Even if the buyer is in a SEZ unit, it will be required to deduct TDS under 194Q in respect of purchase made from resident sellers. Now, is the TDS applicable on all agricultural product GST exempted? On all it is applicable, sir, on all purchases across. Purchase of capital goods also is applicable, your plant and machinery, capital goods, etc. It is not applicable on immovable property because it is not goods. Now, if the jeweler is importing goods from outside India, the jeweler is importing goods from outside of India, is he liable to deduct TDS? No. Why? Obligation to deduct TDS under this provision arises only when payment is made to resident seller. As in the case of import, the seller is a non-resident. Therefore, the buyer, the jeweler is in India, in Bangalore, he is importing goods. Buyer will not have any obligation to deduct tax under this provision. However, TDS under 195 may be required in respect of such transaction. Now, what about goods exported abroad? Jeweler is exporting goods abroad. Is the TDS liable? Sir, liability to deduct when it will arise only when the payment is made to a resident seller. In the transaction of export of goods, seller is a resident, jeweler is at Bangalore, seller is a resident, buyer is non-resident. So how will the buyer deduct and collect tax from the seller? Therefore, liability to deduct tax under this provision may arise, it will arise on the non-resident buyer, but it is not practically possible to collect tax. So we are waiting for government clarifications. Now, all this, through stock exchanges, etc., will it be subject to TDS? There are various issues which may not be, important for the crowd here. So we move further on purchase of software, etc. Now, whether TDS is liable to be deducted on purchase of jewelry not connected with the business. For example, you take an example, Rishi is carrying on business of hardware business. Rishi is carrying on hardware business. But his turnover from that business, total sales, gross receipts, turnover, etc., is exceed 10 crores. He is carrying on hardware business. Now he makes purchases of jewelry of 1 crore. He makes purchase of jewelry of 1 crore from, say, Neelkanth Jewelers. Rishi makes a purchase of 1 crore from Neelkanth Jewelers. But he is carrying on the business of hardware business. There is nothing contained in the act. There is no condition that the purchaser should be connected with the business. Rishi is liable to deduct, sir, because he is making purchase of more than 1 crore. But he is carrying on business. He need not necessarily carry jewelry business, but is purchasing jewelry. His turnover from the business is more than 10 crores. Even if he is purchasing jewelry of more than 1 crore, he has to deduct TDS at 0.1%. Next, what about your additional allied out-of-pocket expenses for purchase of goods of, purchase value of goods? Whatever you have charged in the invoice, sir, on everything you have to, add and then deduct TDS unless you show it separately. Now, what happens if suppose, say, MP Jewelers has given a loan of 1 bullion. Understand carefully. 1 kg bullion, example, MP Jewelers given a loan of 1 kg bullion to, Malabar Jewelers, example. He has given, bullion, advanced loan to the seller. Buyer has given loan to the seller. Amount advances loan to the seller. Sir, loan advanced by buyer is not a payment for purchase of goods. Hence, there is no requirement to deduct TDS on the loan advanced by buyer. However, if MP Jewellers adjust at a future date, they will take that loan amount and settle it against purchase value. Whatever loan is given, for example, settle against purchase value, liability to deduct TDS shall arise. Even though they have given 1 billion in kind, or he has given 1 crore loan to Malabar. Example, MP Jewellers given 1 crore loan to Malabar. In future, they will say, I will purchase bullion, you adjust it against the loan. Then also, my dear friend, TDS will arise. Be careful. 0.1%. Otherwise, that 1 crore will be disallowed. How much? 30%. So the tax will be deducted on which date? On the date on which the parties agreed to adjust the loan against the outstanding liability. Now, what about, tax will be deducted on purchase of goods from one branch to another branch? For two parties are required, sir, in this transaction. There should be seller, there should be buyer. So if branch is there, it is the one and the same. Therefore, the condition of purchase is not fulfilled in the context of branch transfer. Now, last 5 minutes, we can take up, 206 AB also, and then we will go for question and answers. Yeah, 206 AB and 206 CCA. Now, this section, now very important section, very draconian provision. I told you why this section. First, whenever it comes, what is a chartered accountants, what we do, why is this section introduced in the Act? What is the purpose of this section? What is the objective of this section? What is the intent of this section? Why is it introduced? Now, what are they telling? They are very strict. The government is telling if you don't deduct and remit TDS, then tax shall be deducted at higher of the following rates, at twice the rate specified in relevant provision, or at twice the rate or rates in force, or at the rate of 5%. Now, then they are telling specified person, they are using the name. Who is that specified person? Specified person means a person who has not filed the return of income for both of the 2 assessment years, not even one. If you file for one, you don't become a specified person. Therefore, you need not deduct double the rate. Specified person means a person who has not filed return of income for both the assessment years, that is the 2 assessment years. And again, people are getting confused, for which the time limit of filing return under subsection 1 of 139 is expired. It does not say that return has to be filed within the time limit under 139(1). They say if the time limit under 139(1), due date of filing return is expired, but you have filed the return, you have filed belated return 139(4), still it is deemed that return is filed, you need not worry. And again, aggregate of TDS and TCS, both the years, each year it is 50,000 or more. What was happening? All these contractors, they were not filing the returns of income. They are having TDS, they are telling no problem, 50,000 TDS is deducted each year, they are not filing the return. So government has taken a strict view this, and now they are telling specified person, both the years returns you have not filed, TDS and TCS in both the years, as per your 26 years you are claiming is more than 50,000, then you become a specified person. If you become a specified person, and if at all buyer has to deduct TDS and TDS is applicable, then he is going to deduct at the higher of the 3 rates at twice the rate specified in relevant provision, twice the rate or rates in force, rate of 5%. Twice the rate is 0.1. So 0.1 plus 0.1, twice the rate. At twice the rate or rates in force. This the government has understood, it's a drafting error in the Act. Twice the rate or rates in force? What are you talking? Twice the rate or rate in force is 30%. Twice the rate or 60% will you do TDS? The government realized this mistake in the circular when it came. They don't use that word twice the rates or rate in force. They are using only twice the rate specified in provision and rate of 5%. So twice the rate is 0.1 plus 0.1, 0.2 or 5%, whichever is high. Naturally 5% is high. So choice is yours. You want to deduct at 1.1 or you have to deduct at 5%. The twice the rate or rates in force will not impact you. Don't worry. It is 30%. Nobody will tell you deduct tax at 60%. Now, next question is, sir, how do I know that fellow has not filed return of income? Next question is very good question. How do I know, sir, that specified person, seller has not filed return of income? How will the buyer know? Please, if you see the portal, my dear friends, which is given to Infosys, 4,200 crores the government has spent. It is still having a lot of technical glitches. I agree. As on date, it is not that working well. But sooner or later, it would work well. And I will tell you in that portal itself, you need not worry. Please, for heaven's sake, don't go on asking, from the sellers or buyers, you're asking, give your financial statements, give your ITRV, give your, just to collect the PAN. Don't tell them you give me your 26 years, give me your ITRV. Nobody will share, sir. These are all discrete, secret documents, confidential documents. How can he ask ITRV from a person? How can he give you? How can he share his financial statements? How can he share the 26 years? Government has made a beautiful, this portal where you should just feed the PAN of the person. You know what happens when PAN of the person is fed there? It will automatically come. What is the date of allotment of PAN? For example, specified person is Lalit. If PAN was allotted, say 96, the date will come there. You just put Lalit's PAN. You register on the portal now. Now it is not working. When it start working, you just put PAN of the Lalit. Put PAN of Lalit, register, ITRN number will come, and then what will come, that PAN number, when you put beside that, what will come? Date of allotment of PAN, you will know Lalit. From how many years is assessee, Then they will tell what is the income. And 206 AB or CCA, whether it is applicable, they will tell whether it's applicable or not. You need not worry at all. 206, they will tell yes or they will tell no. If they tell yes, if the portal tells yes, go straight away and deduct 5%. And what is the harm for you? You are not deducting out of your pocket. Whatever payment you are going to make to the seller, the buyer will deduct out of that. So kindly don't worry at all. That portal will guide you whether you have to deduct 206 AB or CCA is for TCS, the same provision. But be careful, you need not break your head at all. You cannot ask the seller, please give me 26 years, please give me financial statements, please give me your ITRV. That everything will be enabled on the portal itself. I have given all the steps here. If you see here, I have given all the steps here. So you need not worry also, and don't break your head also. I will tell you how to do it. Anyway, your accountants, chartered accountants, tax consultants, etc., they will help you. That is different matter. But here, if you see, my dear friends, here, e-proceeding reporting portal. When you go through this, log in through TAN, because there is, panic all over India. All over India, I am taking lectures. Mr. Ravi Kumar introduced you 40 branches. 40 branches, it is not 40 lectures. Each branch would have taken for 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. So it is only 40 branches have traveled all over India. For example, here, now 3 days after I have got in Ahmedabad, now already calls are coming from all over India. They are telling, sir, what is to be done? Don't worry. In the pending action, when you go here, e-proceeding reporting portal, click on the term reporting portal. You know what all is available, my dear friends, on this portal now? How beautifully PAN, Aadhaar, bank account, everything is linked. So every detail is available, sir. If you take compliance portal, high value transactions, today, sitting on the portal, I can see what the businessman, if I see your accounts, for example, I will see your, Malabar Jewelers. If I see that, I know going on the portal, what is your business income? Suppose customs, 3 crores export sales, that will appear there. What is your interest, every interest, that will appear there. You sold mutual funds, you sold shares, that will appear there. What is your salary will appear there. Credit card payments, more than 2 lakh rupees will appear there. Because all these, they are filing specified financial transactions. They are all filing all these reports. Any purchase or sale of immoral property, sub-registrar will give information to the government. Credit card, more than 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs payment, more than 2 lakhs payment, credit card will share information. Again, cash deposit, on the portal it comes, this is the cash deposit, this is the cash withdrawal in bank account. All these details are coming. So there is no way out. So gone are the days now. Gone are the days. In these days, what is happening? Everything is connected and linked. Mind you, the project inside is there of the government. 360-degree profile of the assessee is available. I will tell you, if they put your name, you have made payment through all this, you are making payment through Google apps and your Google Pay, Paytm, etc. How many pizzas you have eaten, even that will come. What was the topping, even that will come. Because everything is ordered online through Swiggy app, etc. All the information is available. Anyway, so when I go here, I'm selecting all the forms, I'm giving here, compliance check, tax, deductor and collector, click that. Then if you see here, how many PANs, I have to fill up my details. For example, Malabar Jewelers, all this you fill up. My entity name, Malabar Jewelers, etc., state, pin code, everything fill up. Very simple. After that, then you please see now what information will generate. So ITDREIN will come, authorized person, because this is of a client, we have just pasted it. Then your current password, new password, etc. will come. Then you please see, you PAN, etc. you put. Then what comes? Now, as I take you forward here, see here, name. Now, PAN allotment date of that person. PAN allotment date 5/12/15. PAN Aadhaar link status linked. Even that detail is coming. And is it specified person and 206 ABCCA? Portal is telling you no. Then why do you worry? Portal is telling no means you deduct 0.1%. This is what the portal will tell you. Specified person, yes means yes. If you see here now, please see this compliance check now. So for 3 persons, allotment date of PAN is coming. PAN Aadhaar link status linked, not linked. Even that is there. Specified person and 206 ABCCA, no. So why do you worry? Last 2 years returns are all filed, you know by this detail. It is coming, no. Portal itself is telling. So we need not worry. Now, all the due dates are extended. Last 1 minute. Do not worry. All the due dates are now extended. So I have put that press release also. Yes. So last date of linkage of Aadhaar with PAN also 139A, which was earlier extended to 30th June. This is there from 2017. The government is going on extending. Is now further extended to 30th of September 2021. So I have finished my presentation to the extent I thought, it was necessary to discuss. Now you can, whatever doubts you have, let us discuss, sir. You can ask their questions.
Thank you, Naveen-ji. It was a great presentation. And before we take up, one of our directors, Mr. Prashant Mehta, wanted to say something.
Yes, sir.
Prashant Bhai, you're there online?
Yeah, I'm online.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ketan. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Naveen Khariwal for giving such a, booming, you can say, and such an insight of the TDS Act. And it was very nice, and it was elaborately explained. Number two, I would like to thank all the, participants. There are such a large number of participants. You see, by the way the people have participated, we can understand what is the seriousness of this particular act, which is going to implicate the industry. Now, I feel this industry is in trouble since last 1 year. The government is not in favor of our industry. They have been bringing a lot of acts, regulations, rules. They are going on changing one by one, which is making it very difficult for the industry to survive, which is making it very difficult for the industry to grow, which is making it very difficult for us to comply with the acts. GST लाए, GST के बाद ई-वे बिल लाए, ई-इनवॉइसिंग लाए, और उसके बाद उनका खुद का काम है वो हमको करने के लिए दे रहे हैं. धीरे पूरा बर्डन हमारे ऊपर शिफ्ट हो रहे हैं. ये अपना टीडीएस, उसके बाद हॉल मार्किंग आया, ये आया, प्राइवेट पार्टी को इंपोर्ट बैन किया, सिर्फ अपना नॉमिनेट एजेंसी और बैंक खाली इंपोर्ट कर सकते हैं अभी बुलियन. नाउ मिस्टर नवीन explained us in very great detail what is it the assessee has to do, what is it the buyer has to do. But the biggest problem is the implication of this act by the buyer. Buyer will be burdened with so many things that it will be very difficult for us to survive in this environment. What the TDS Act says us to deduct 0.1% and then pay it. Now I'll give you with examples. All the imports are now routed through only the nominate agencies and through the banks. Now, banks are making a very meager margin. They are supplying at almost $1 premium or $1.5 premium, or their margin itself is not more than $1, which works out to around 500 to 600 rupees per kilograms. Now the government says you deduct 0.1% of the total sale value. Now 0.1% of the sale value comes to around 5,000 rupees per kilo, keeping that kilo is 50 lakh rupees for simple terms. So 5,000 rupees per kilo, if you have to deduct from the bank and you have to pay to the government, bank will say, why am I interested in doing this business? When I am getting a profit of only 500 rupees, why would I block my 5,000 rupees for this kind of business? So I feel none of the banks are, at the moment, I'm in close touch with the banks because I'm very much worried that there will be a big crisis coming through. After first, I think all the banks will stop supplying the bullion to us, and I don't know what will happen to our industry. Now there will be a severe shortage of the raw material, I feel. No banks are interested now. At the moment, I'm in touch with the banks. I say, what will happen? Then the bank says, we will not supply you. We will not supply you unless you make us the full payment of the goods supplied to you. And TDS, you cannot deduct from us. If you want to pay the TDS, you pay from your pocket. So I'm really worried. If I pay from my pocket, how will I be able to get it back from the bank? So it becomes difficult. So I feel in future, the cost of bullion will increase definitely by 0.1%. The buyer will be burdened with that. It has become like not a TDS, but it has become like any other, surcharge. Like you can say it is like a GST or it is like customs duty. So this is first point. The second point I would like to ask Mr. Naveen,
Yeah.
whether TDS on sale of bullion, is it constitutionally valid? Is it legal? Because the just and the understanding of the TDS is what? The TDS is basically paid on your income generated. Now, you please let me know, when you are doing trading, it is not 100% confirmed that you are doing trading only if you are making a profit. Tomorrow, I may make a loss also in a trading. So keeping this in mind, how can you compel me to pay or deduct TDS and pay? I have an argument. When I am giving you my balance sheet, I am filing my returns. I am filing my returns at the end of the year. I am showing you what is my gross income, what is my net income, and I would have also paid the advance taxes on these incomes. And moreover, above that, you are compelling me to deduct a tax of 0.1%, and you conclude that I am definitely going to make a profit of 0.1% and above. I am not able to understand this logic of the government, whether this is constitutionally valid or not. I would like Mr. Naveen to answer to this question. This is the first question. I'll also continue with one more question.
Yeah.
Now, suppose somebody opts, because the banks will definitely say, I'm not going to allow you to deduct TDS, and if you want to buy, you buy it from me and pay the whole amount, and you pay TDS from your pocket. Now, is there any possibility or is there any way out wherein I opt and I say, bank, sir, I am ready to pay TCS. I'll buy from the bank and I'll pay TCS, and I'll ask them to charge me TCS, and they deduct they charge TCS to me, and I don't deduct TDS. Is it possible? These are the two questions, vital questions, wherein our industry will survive, wherein our trade can go smoothly, I feel.
Sir, the first question what you have raised is regarding constitutionality of the provision. So if you see all these TDS provisions, the very first sentence in 194Q, as you rightly pointed out, is it on income? The tax is only on income. It is not. But the section itself, TDS says, any person being a buyer who is responsible for paying any sum. The section word used is any sum. And it is already passed by the Finance Act also. Even if you were to file a writ petition in a court of law tomorrow, dispute before the High Court or Supreme Court, or question the constitutionality, it would be very difficult to convince the courts, because the word used is paying any sum. It is not telling income. So therefore, the constitutionality will be very difficult for you to argue there. And secondly, regarding this banks.
Sir, I'll interrupt you in this.
Yes,
Then
sir,
what
yes,
is the logic behind collection of TCS? There is no logic.
Correct. No, what is the logic is they want to increase the taxpayer base. See, through this seller and through this buyer, they want to make inroads into all the assessees. They want to find out whether they are filing return or not. 0.1%, they don't want the collection. Because they will deduct 0.1%, their name will appear in the portal, their name will come in the portal. They will be issued TDS certificates, it will come in 26 AS. So then when they see that, then they come to know whether this fellow has filed the return of income. They want people to be tax compliant and file the returns of income and declare income. Because of that 0.1%, they are now coming to know what is the sales and what is the purchases. Based on what is the sales, what is the purchases, then they will come to know the profit. And then they will want to tax the income itself. Ultimately, sir, what is taxed is only the income. And the TDS, what is deducted, you can claim it from your taxes. Ultimately, what happens, they are forcing you to file the return of income. They are forcing you to file the return of income so that you claim the TDS or TCS, and that may result in the refund, or it may result in the tax payable. Ultimately, what is tax payable? You will be given credit of the TDS. Why this is done is to force you to declare the income and to file the return of income.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Sir, anybody doing a business of 10 crores will be definitely filing a tax of return. So this is not valid.
That logic I
Uh,
reasoning.
Prashant bhai, we'll discuss this
Yeah,
constitutional
I know.
validity later.
Please
Yeah.
continue your.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, no.
Now, to the
These are
next
interesting
question.
arguments. There is no
Yeah,
problem.
we'll do that later because
Yeah.
we'll go through the members.
Yeah.
thing.
Second question. Second
Yeah.
question.
Second question. Can it be asked? Can I ask the seller to charge me TCS instead of me charging TDS? I mean, paying TDS for it. Is
Not
it
possible,
possible?
sir.
Of buyer
Not-
deducting TDS.
It is
Yeah.
not possible because the question is if you fail to deduct TDS, then by virtue of 206C 1H section itself, the department will collect it from the seller.
So only option we will have is to approach
Yes.
the ministry for an exemption in our
Correct.
business. That's
Correct.
the only option at the current time, right now. So what we'll do is we'll take there are few hands raised up. There are few
Yeah.
questions which we have already got, and I'll just ask the questions to Naveen ji, and
Yeah.
based on that, then we'll take the questions which are hands raised up. If your question is already answered, I would request you to lower your hands so that we don't repeat it because it's quite late. I'm sure people want to have dinner. I'm very sorry, but there was no time. We had only this time. Okay. So I'll just go through it. Naveen ji, first question they have is, you said that total sales is without GST. One question has come is it total sales minus sales return? Can we take that into account?
Yeah. Absolutely. Sales minus
Okay.
sales returns, discounts. You know, all
Discounts.
that.
All
Net-
right.
Net only, no problem.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of in our industry. There's a lot of URD purchase. Sometimes, so in that case, also we are supposed to. I'm sure you have covered it, but we are. This the questions come. We are again supposed to cut TDS on the payment of that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
100%.
Okay.
There is no exemption at all.
Okay. Okay.
Their exemption is given is where 206C.
Hmm.
For example, that scrap, tendulis, etc., whether TDS deducted any other provision or
Mhm.
under 206C 1H, then only deduction is there here. Otherwise, no
Okay.
exemption. You have to deduct.
Okay, fine. Now, one question has come from Uresh ji that it's very difficult to track when the 50 lakhs is happening. What happens if I start deducting TDS right from the first transaction? I mean, then what happens? I know I'm doing a lot of business with this bullion dealer.
Yeah.
I just deduct TDS from all the payments for my jewelry or bullion purchase.
Okay.
Some may be more than 50 lakhs, some may be less than 50 lakhs at the end of the year. Any
No.
problem will happen in that kind of a business
No.
cycle?
See, in this, you are complying from, you are not taking the limit of 50 lakhs at all. So it's a
Correct.
benefit to the government. In fact, you are deducting TDS.
Yes.
So that should not be a problem. But I think 50 lakh rupees you can find out actually easily. Because only 150 lakhs only it is. It is not per bill. Per annum, per seller, it is 50 lakhs.
No, that is the actual practical problem is monitoring that. Suddenly it has gone over 50 lakhs and all that. So, the accountant then makes a mistake, then we are into a problem.
Yeah.
The simpler thing is you just deduct.
You are telling
From
just
big-
put it in the bill. Karke. Just put
Yeah.
it in the email.
Yeah, every payment we deduct it and send it and give
Yeah,
him a
yeah.
payment advice that this much is
You can
deducted.
go. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, Uresh ji, if you're there, that is valid. Okay. And okay. Now, one question is last year my turnover was less than 10 crores.
Not
This
possible,
year-
sir. You need not deduct. You need not deduct.
The question is this year it becomes more than 10 crores. I need not deduct.
Not required at all. Again,
Not
next
required.
year it will come. Again,
Next year it will come.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Are we supposed to collect TCS from the consumer as well? Because if they don't give the PAN, what happens?
No. If they don't give the PAN, you have to deduct at a higher rate. You have no choice.
What is it from
See,
the
what
consumer?
Is you are purchasing. 194Q is on purchases. You are not
Okay.
purchasing from the consumer. You are selling to them. They are purchasing from you.
Yes. I'm asking from both. I'm asking right now if I'm purchasing, I'm cutting TDS. When I'm
Correct.
selling to a retail client,
It
under
will.
TCS,
Definitely.
TCS.
261H will apply.
Okay. Now the question is if he doesn't have a PAN, is it 1% or 0.1% is the question?
5%. Not 0.5, 5%.
15 मिनट
Acha. Okay, fine.
काम
Now, and if we take right now undertaking on a particular letterhead, is it enough from all the
Enough,
clients?
sir. That's more than enough. You take his signature, take his letterhead, and that's enough. If you take his
Okay.
PAN, as I told you, as and when the portal is enabled, when you put the PAN, all the details will come. You need not worry at all. even without his knowledge, you please deduct 5% or whatever they say, 206 AB. If they tell yes, you have to go by it. If they tell no, don't go by it, like that.
Okay, fine. So, 1 second.
Please do not share, in my humble opinion, please do not share 26 AS, ITR, V or all your financial statements with the customers or with the, sellers. It is all confidential documents which can be misused.
Okay. Now, this is a interesting question as per me. Let's say we start taking till the portal is started, and the
Okay.
person says mine is more than 10 crores, so do not deduct TCS. And I
Okay.
keep selling to him. Afterwards, I find out this is a false declaration he has given me. His turnover was only 5-6 crores for whatever purpose.
Okay.
Then what happens to me as a seller? This is a TCS related question.
So what happens? Anyway, you are claiming. No, you can claim. What is there? You have deducted also. There is
No,
no
no,
harm.
no,
You
no,
should
no.
claim.
Mr. Navi, I'm not deducted. This is on sales. I am sold bullion to a particular jeweler. He said
Okay.
mine is more than 10 crores. He has cut my TDS. Now, but I was actually supposed to cut TCS. He said it's 10 crores and he started cutting TDS for me when buying. But
Okay.
afterwards, I found out he has either not paid the TDS or he was not even eligible to cut the TDS. And I had to cut the TCS. These are wrong based on some wrong declaration. Till the portal comes up, I'm saying.
Yeah. That you will have to consistently see the 26 years and you have to be in touch with him. That I am not getting credit karke. That is a good point. You have to be, consistently you'll have to be checking the 26 years. And you have to
Okay.
inform that I am not getting credit karke.
Acha. So
Yeah, these frauds can happen.
Okay.
Ketan, there's also a very interesting question by Mr. Harish.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
A lot of retail customers ask to make a bill in their company name and file GST returns for their credit. So in that scenario, do we have to deduct TDS?
No, bill is in
We
whose
ask
name,
them to deduct TDS or collect TCS in any scenario.
correct. The bill is in whose name? The
Company.
customer will come and they will
Customer's
take the bill.
Correct.
The bill is in customer's name. So you are selling to the customer. You are selling to the customer.
Correct.
And then customer is purchasing from you.
Correct.
Point number one is customer is not carrying on any business.
No, he says if the customer is running a company and he wants the bill in the company name.
Then you give a name of company's name. There is no harm. For us, there is
We'll
no
also
harm.
have to check about his turnover also.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we are
We'll
telling
have
you
to
take
use
a
his PAN on the
self-declaration.
portal and check
That is why you take a self-declaration from the seller.
whether he comes under 10 crore
Yes.
bracket or goes
Correct.
beyond 10 crore
Correct.
bracket, and
Then
accordingly
it's
check.
based on your self-declaration. As Ketan Bhai pointed out, we don't know. There may be frauds all around. We don't know. Why you deducted, why you not deducted. Tomorrow the department comes for TDS survey. They will tell why you deducted, why you not deducted. These are all the letters, sir. Based on this, I have deducted. I have not taken a conscious call. I have not decided that I will deduct. Based on the self-declaration, I have deducted. This is the proof.
All
One
right.
question has come. If this self-declaration comes on email by scan, is it okay or should we collect
Okay.
hard copy? Okay,
No, it's okay. No problem.
fine. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say is,
What if there is a cash sales who is not
Yes,
a
sir.
GST holder?
Pardon, sir?
If there is a cash sales
Yeah.
who is not a GST holder, just a Aam Aadmi who walks in and he's not a GST holder, will the buyer had to deduct DTS?
No. See what has happened. Suppose there is a cash sale of say 50 lakh rupees. The customer comes in. See, I will tell you what are the risks for a jeweler. Now you bill them 50 lakhs you have taken, 50 lakh sales you have shown. You have entered in your books of accounts. आपने tax की चोरी नहीं की है. You have paid the tax. You have declared that. You have declared in your GST, income tax, etc. What is the repercussion in the hands of a jeweler? Point number one, 269 ST will be applicable. Any cash sales beyond 2 lakhs and above,
Correct.
2 lakhs and above, 100% penalty, sir. 50 lakh sales, you showed 50 lakhs, government of India. You
So
have
I
to
mean
pay.
to say cash sales, yani Aam Aadmi who walks in, he
Yes.
purchases beyond 2 lakhs. Maybe the mode of payment
Sir,
can
whether
be
he
through check
purchases,
for
I
him.
am not bothered, sir. In the hands of the jeweler, I am bothered because I am getting cash up to more than 2 lakhs. So 100%
Cash, I mean to
penalty.
say, not exactly the cash, probably in mode of check or in mode of credit card or whatsoever.
Yeah.
So in that case, does he need to deduct TDS?
No.
TCS,
Like online
TCS.
payment,
Yes.
etc.
No. He is actually purchasing from me, no?
Yeah.
Correct. So in
that is
that
his
case, I am a
He will
seller,
check.
I am a
Yes,
seller,
I am
he's a buyer.
seller. That is why I'm going to take declaration. Moment any person comes, I'm going to give the declaration as a my seller. I'll keep the declaration ready. You sign and you tell me whether your turnover exceeds or not. Then I will not deduct karke. If that fellow agrees, yes, then only I will deduct. Otherwise, I will not deduct the 194Q. Very simple.
Okay.
Okay. One
Other
question we
questions
have.
do we have, Ketan?
Two more I have come.
Yes, sir.
One question I have. I made a payment. I mean, I given a bank payment to say Mr. Lalit, which was my loan payment.
Okay.
Now, in that case, what happens with 194? There was no sale of good. It was a loan had come and I paid loan. It's not
Not
interest.
applicable, sir. Absolutely not applicable. No TDS.
No TDS.
No
Okay. Okay. Related to the same thing, I'm giving it a loan to another person.
Okay.
Same. No TDS. Okay.
No TDS.
Okay. I think these are the questions which I noted down. There is one or two hands raised. I'll just ask them to.
Yes, sir. Please, you can unmute them. No problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Ashish, you can ask. Ashish ji? I think he's unmute. Okay. Kishore HS?
ಸರ್ ಕಿಶೋರ್
Yeah.
ನವೀನ್ ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಟ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ ಒಂದ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋತ್ 194Q ನು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಇದೆ 206C ನು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಇದೆ
ಸರ್ 194Q ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಸರ್ 194Q ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು 194Q ಮತ್ತೆ 206C1H ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 194Q ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್
ಅಲ್ಲ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಬೈಯರ್ ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ TCS ನ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು TCS ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು 194Q ಹೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು 194Q ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು 206C1H ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ತಾವು 194Q ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಅದು 206C1H ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಓಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಗಿವನ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ 194Q ನೌ
ಓಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗಾರೆ ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಏನು TCS ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರೀಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ
ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ತಾವು 194Q ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರು 206C1H ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ TCS
ಸರಿ ನಾವು ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ನ ನೀವು TCS ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವಾಗ 194Q ನ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ
ಆಗೋಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ನಿಮ್ 194Q ಇದ್ರೆ ತಾವು ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 30% ಡಿಸಲೌಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ 30% ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಚೇಸಸ್ ಡಿಸಲೌ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ
ಸರಿ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ TCS ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ ನಾವು TDS ಮಾಡೋ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ
ಕಿಶೋರ್ ಸರ್ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ನವೀನ್ ಸರ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು 10 crores ಮೇಲಿದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ದು 10 crores ಕೆಳಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ
194Q 206 ಎರಡು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಬ್ರದ್ದು ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ
ಎರಡು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಬೋತ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಏನ್ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಎರಡು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೈಯರ್ ಟರ್ನ್
ಅವಾಗ 194
more than 10 crores ಇಲ್ಲಿ more transaction value more than 50 lakhs but important thing is 194Q will take importance will take precedence is above 206C1H.
It is very simple, sir. 194Q will prevail over everything. Simple as that.
Correct.
You cannot take shelter under TCS and all that. Simple as that.
If both are coming into picture, 194Q is applicable. Simple.
Correct.
It is prevailing over everything. Simple.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Ketan, anybody else is there?
One, there is iPhone 2. I can't. Please go ahead. Suresh bhai, aap hai. बताइए.
नवीन सर हाँ मेरा एक क्वेश्चन आपसे ये था सर जैसे हमने पहले बिफोर डेट 30th जून के पहले जो भी सेल्स किया है उसका पेमेंट हमको आना है नहीं हमने उसको TCS लगा के सेल किया पार्टी को ऑलरेडी हमने TCS लगा के किया है तो वो पार्टी का जो पेमेंट हमको आएगा वो TDS काट के देगा या एज जो पेमेंट है वो देगा हमको
वो नहीं काटेगा साहब TDS
वो नहीं काटेगा ना
206
पेमेंट आफ्टर 1 जुलाई हो रहा है ना पेमेंट आफ्टर
जुलाई के ऊपर ही है
नहीं सर हमने सेल्स पहले कर दिया है
मैं समझ गया सब आपकी बात सेल्स आपने पहले कर दिया है बिफोर 30th of June आपने कर दिया सेल्स
यस
तो सेल बिल में आपने 206C1H कर दिया होगा
हाँ यस
है ना तो वो 194Q अप्लीकेबल होने का सवाल ही नहीं है
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So 1st July onwards, either 194Q or 206 is
Yes.
applicable.
That is
सर
important.
नवीन सर
Moving
अभी
forward.
मतलब अभी 10 करोड़ अबव जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन मतलब जिसका बिजनेस टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ अबव लास्ट ईयर का है उसके लिए दोनों एप्लीकेबल है आई थिंक। और कोई
दोनों-
पार्टी बोलता है हमारा बिजनेस 10 करोड़ के अंदर है तो
हाँ।
हम उसको क्या उसको हम मतलब वो हमारा टीसीएस
मैं
नहीं
आपको
काटेगा।
कृपा करके आपको बता रहा हूँ साहब, आप किसी का भरोसा नहीं करना है आपको। आप कृपा करके सेल्फ डिक्लेरेशन ले लीजिए। वो
ओके
सच बोले या झूठ आप अपने को मालूम नहीं है, आप सेल्फ डिक्लेरेशन ले लो उसे साइन करवा के। कभी मेरा
Naveen sir, Naveen-
मोर देन 10 करोड़ था।
Naveen sir, is there a standard format for the self-declaration which we can forward it to our members?
Yeah, I will send it, no problem.
Yeah, please.
Okay, we'll send it to the members.
Yeah, that will make, that will,
We can send it.
yeah.
Okay, we'll take the last question. Mr. Rakesh, you can
Yeah,
ask.
sir. It's Rakesh here.
Yeah, Rakesh.
So we started our firm as newly. It started from 1st of October 2020.
Okay.
So our customer is asking declaration like you want to give acknowledgement number of previous year 18, 19, 19, 20.
Hmm.
So how you want to submit?
It will not apply at all, sir, because the law is telling 2 years.
Yeah.
So even if 1 year, no, only 1 year is there. So therefore it will not apply at all. Don't worry at all.
So
Oh.
so they're now asking the declaration form. So how can we declare that?
No, you are formed only in October 20, no?
Yeah, but we crossed 10 years, sir.
So what? So
So-
March 21, you have crossed 10 CR. That means to say
Yeah.
today you are buying or selling. If you are buying, then 194Q is applicable
Okay.
because you have crossed 10 CR.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
नवीन जी सर, हेलो।
Yes, sir.
हाँ, राजू बोलो सर। हेलो।
हाँ, बोलिए राज जी।
अच्छा
राजू भाई बॉम्बे से, बॉम्बे राजू भाई बॉम्बे में।
जय जिनेंद्र साहब।
बोलिए सर, बोलिए।
सर अपने हाईसी सेल्स में किन हाईसी सेल्स में
नहीं लगता है साहब, इंपोर्ट से नहीं लगेगा।
नहीं हाई इंपोर्ट सेल नहीं है, हाईसीज।
नहीं, अच्छा हाईसी सेल्स में है जो एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं ना।
हाँ नहीं, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, हाईसी सेल इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं।
तो वही मैं आपको फर्स्ट बोला इंपोर्ट है करके।
हाँ,
अगर
या
इंपोर्ट
import
है तो एक्सपोर्टर कहाँ है? इंडिया के बाहर है, सेलर इंडिया के बाहर है।
सेलर इंडिया के बाद, लेकिन हाईसी सेल में जो इंडिया वाला है ना,
नहीं,
वो
आप
मेरे को
लोग डिडक्ट नहीं, आप लोग अगर डिडक्ट करेंगे तो वो क्लेम कर सकेगा क्या? वो क्लेम नहीं कर सकता।
नहीं, वो आपकी बात सही है, लेकिन ये हाईसी सेल में क्या होता है कि जो लोकल का पार्टी, इंडिया का पार्टी है ना, उसने माल खरीदी किया था उधर, फिर उसने आने के पहले मेरे को बेच दिया, उसने हाईसी सेल्स किया है।
अच्छा, तो सेल बिल उसी का पड़ता है क्या? इंडियन
हाँ, सेल बिल इसका है, इंडियन पार्टी का सेल बिल आएगा।
तो फिर लगेगा, तो फिर लगेगा,
तो लगेगा ना उसमें सर?
तो फिर लगेगा, सही बात।
हाँ, तो 194 लगेगा ना उसमें?
लगेगा।
ओके वही बोल रहा था। ओके सर।
Okay. Naveen ji, thank you for your time. It was very interesting, very powerful. People really have much more clarity about attending this session.
Prashant bhai, any more questions from your side, sir?
No, I think it has been very clear. The law is very clear and
Yes.
everything is explained very thoroughly. But the problem, what I see, is it will be extremely difficult to implement
Basically,
this.
the operational.
Not
problems will
operational, Ravi. It is not operational. It is the
Back-end
problem of the. No, it is the problem of the profitability. When the profit itself is not
As you rightly,
0.1%,
as
how
you
will
rightly
do the business?
asked, as you rightly asked, bullion transaction, mein, it's
The
a
more
very,
turnover
very
you do,
minuscule-
no, 1 minute.
it's a very
The more
minuscule-
turnover you do, the more money you are blocking.
Blocking.
So
Absolutely,
who is
absolutely.
interested in doing business now?
Correct. बुलियन
I-
में 0.1 या 0.2 मार्जिन आता कि नहीं मालूम नहीं है, मगर उतना ब्लॉक हो जाएगा।
उतना ब्लॉक करना है हमको।
So that will be an
बहुत strange
additional,
है ये चीज।
that will be an additional capital to be invested.
Yes, sir. Quite
Yes.
true.
At
Ketan,
least
any more thing? Anything
no.
else?
I think we'll take one last question, Naveen ji. Nirmal
Yes, sir.
Jewellers. Then Nirmal Jewellers, you can ask, please.
Who, sir?
Nirmal Jewellers is the name coming up.
Yeah, please.
Nirmal Jewellers, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
I don't think so. I think he is probably
Yeah. सर
okay. हाँ. Yes, sir.
समझो मैं जुलाई में अभी किसी को मैं सेल करता हूँ, करीबन समझो 1.5-2 करोड़ का माल सेल करता हूँ जुलाई में, और अगस्त में उसमें से कोई थोड़ा बहुत समझो 10-20 लाख का माल, अभी जब 2 करोड़ का सेल करूंगा तो मेरा वो 194 क्यू में 1.1% TDS कट करेगा।
करेक्ट।
उसके बाद उसी बिल के अगेंस्ट वो मेरे को या तो क्रेडिट नोट देगा या फिर सेल्स रिटर्न देगा।
ठीक है,
तो तभी मुझे वापस 0.1% कट करना पड़ेगा।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, जरूरत
तो
नहीं।
तभी मैं बायर हो जाऊंगा ना। अभी मैंने सेल किया तो वो बायर हो गए, तो वो वापस मुझे रिटर्न सेल्स रिटर्न करेंगे तो मैं बायर हो जाऊंगा।
नहीं 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 नहीं, देखिए आप क्या कर रहे हैं, फर्स्ट पॉइंट क्या है, आप सेल कर रहे हैं ना फर्स्ट में।
हाँ, जुलाई में करेंगे, अगस्त में वापस देंगे वो मुझे।
जुलाई में आपने 10 करोड़ का सेल किया उनको, ठीक है साहब। जुलाई में जब आपने उनको 10 करोड़ का सेल किया तो आपको परचेस का प्रोविजन नहीं है, 194 क्यों लगेगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि आप सेल कर रहे हैं। पॉइंट नंबर 1।
हाँ, उनको लगेगा, उनको लगेगा।
हाँ, उनको लगेगा, तो वो आपको डिडक्ट कर लेंगे। आपको 2061H करना पड़ेगा। अगर उन्होंने 194 क्यों में कर दिया तो आपको करने की जरूरत नहीं।
ठीक है,
फर्स्ट में 10 करोड़ में, फिर वो आपको, फिर आप उनसे मतलब वो आपको सेल करेंगे 10 करोड़।
सेल्स रिटर्न करेंगे या क्रेडिट नोट देंगे, कोई चीज।
हाँ, तो अगर वो सेल्स रिटर्न्स करेंगे तो आप प्लीज समझिए कि सेल कैसे लेना है अपने को। सेल नेट ऑफ सेल्स रिटर्न्स, नेट ऑफ डिस्काउंट, नेट ऑफ ऑल एडजस्टमेंट्स। वो 2061H में नेट सेल्स पर ही करेगा वो, ग्रॉस सेल्स पर नहीं करेगा वो।
अच्छा,
हाँ,
ठीक है।
ये 2061H में आपको कैसा करना चाहिए बोले तो, हाउ यू हैव टू डू इज, ईच people are doing, there are 3 types in the market. People are doing either they are charging in the invoice, first one. Second one, what they are doing, at the end of each month they are raising debit note. At the end of each month जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन है, जितना रिसीव हुआ उतना डेबिट नोट ले रहा हूं।
ठीक है।
या और थर्ड वन क्या है,
नवीन
रिसिप्ट
जी,
पे कर रहा हूं मैं।
नवीन जी बहुत सिंपल है।
Only on receipt.
प्रशांत भाई
नवीन
कुछ
जी,
बोल रहे थे। हाँ।
बहुत सिंपल है। सेल्स रिटर्न पे एप्लीकेबल हो ही नहीं सकता। इट इज
बस,
ओनली ऑन
बस।
सेल्स, सिंपल
सही
एज
बात
दैट।
है, सही बात है, सही बात है।
सेल्स रिटर्न पे हो ही नहीं सकता, कोई ट्रांजैक्शन पे हो नहीं सकता, खाली सेल पे हो सकता है, बस।
सही बात है सर।
Naveen ji, सच्ची में hats off to your in-depth knowledge about
Sure,
things,
sir.
and you have really taken us in a roller coaster ride and given us a very happy ending and given clarification about what is exactly applicable and what scenario we are intended to you. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
anything else you would want to take it up?
No, Ravi, let's conclude. I think most of the questions have been answered.
All right.
Very few of them will take it offline and try to get a clarification for the
Sure.
members.
So for the information of the members, we shall try to share all the required details at the earliest. Probably we would upload the PPT or the related PPT slides in our website, and if possible, we will also see if we can give the link to the recording as well.
Definitely.
Right. And thank you for all the participation, dear members. It was an amazing session, and you've been a great audience, great listeners, and you guys have added a lot of value. And before I say good night, I would like to also add that JAB is very soon starting off with vaccination drive for all the jewelers, their staff, the smiths, etc. Tomorrow we are starting off with the smiths. Very soon we will be extending the same facility to the traders and their staff as well. Please make use of this thing and make sure we are all protected and stay safe. Thank you so much. Naveen ji, amazing session. Thanks a ton.
Thank
On
you,
behalf
sir.
of all the members.
Thank you,
We shall reach out to you for a lot more clarifications and a lot more sessions. We have many seminars to do, and we shall reach out to you soon, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
जय जिनेंद्र।
जय जिनेंद्र सर, थैंक यू।
अच्छा, नमक जाता ना।